Hi, everyone. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Wanted to say good morning to you. Thank you, Hilda, for joining us. That's the first person I can see here. Um, and we're so grateful to everyone for taking time out on their Saturday to join us for this amazing session that we have planned with Kat on navigating hormonal health and work challenges for women and their well-being as well. Well, we'll get into who Card is, but before we get into that, I wanted to introduce myself for some of us that might not know me. My name is Abimbola Akinnuoye, and I am the community builder at Leadingladiesconnect, a platform that was created to connect women to each other, to opportunities, and also to create platforms to elevate their businesses and their professional lives. So most of what we do is tailored towards women. This session is one of those programmings that is talking about something that is generic to women, our health, navigating emotions, hormones, and so on and so forth. So today we're joined by Kat. Kat is a women's wellness coach. She's not just a wellness coach, she's a women wellness coach. And she's an award-winning business owner as well. I'll just let Kat get into it, introducing herself and also what to expect today. Um, Over to you, Kat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abby. Good morning, ladies. I can see Vicky and Hilda here. Thank you so much for joining us. Lola just joined as well, and I'm sure more people are going to be rolling in. So we're just gonna keep on walking through everything. I do want to make this session interactive, so I will ask you, ladies, some questions and to participate, and not just raising your hand or typing it into chat. If you don't want to put your camera on, that's okay. I understand it's Saturday morning. We don't always look like this on Saturday mornings either, so that's fine. But I do want to hear your voices. Oh, I see your beautiful face. Thank you, Yvonne. And I do want to hear your opinions, your questions as well, and participating in wherever I ask you for things. For the questions that you have, Abby did send me some already, so I will address those first from that list if they are not going to the ones that are included into the actual presentation, because a lot of the ones that you did send, Abby, are actually a part of my presentation. So that's perfect. And then I'll get to your actual questions if I haven't already addressed them as well. So we'll have a little bit of a Q&A session at the end too. So first of all, of course, thank you so much, Abby, for having me. It is my honor to be here and to do this for you. My mission is to empower and inspire and guide and educate women in hormonal imbalances and well-being. And of course, I love everything that you're doing. I just told you that before everyone joined and the community that you have built, and of course, collaborating with you. And we have a few more collaborations to come. So we'll make those announcements later as things unfold. So a little bit about myself. So my name is Kat Ostroumova. I'm the founder and CEO of Cat International Fitness, and I am a women's wellness coach and hormonal imbalance specialist. And I specialize in hormonal imbalances such as hypothyroidism, diabetes, PCOS, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, and so many others. And of course, just simply working with women who don't have any hormonal imbalances, but are simply looking to get on a health and wellness journey and are unaware of where to start, what to do, how to eat right, how to exercise, and how to navigate that wellness lifestyle in such a busy world and time consumption that we all live in. So today's objective is to empower women in business with practical strategies for managing hormonal imbalances, thyroid health, and overall wellness. And of course, to provide you with actionable tips. It's not just about me talking about what you can do, but also give you the strategies and the tips and guidance on how to maintain a balanced diet, incorporating fitness into your business schedule and how to do that, and optimizing our energy levels that so many of us unfortunately are lacking due to our busy lifestyle. So before I get into the actual presentation and share these strategies with you, I want to tell you a little bit about my own journey and my own struggles to kind of paint a picture as to why I do what I do and why I am so passionate about this. So, as they say, as the saying goes, been there, done that. So, a little bit about my background is that at the age of 17, I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. And your thyroid is a butterfly shaped gland in the middle of our necks. And it's a very powerful little gland that is responsible for your entire body systems and the way they function. And so when the thyroid function and the production of the thyroid hormone is overactive, that is called hyperthyroidism, that causes anxiety and depression and irregular heartbeats, and almost like you've drank like 10 cups of coffee and that happens to you on 24/7. So it's like you're in overdrive. So that obviously leads to major stress, major burnout, and actually weight loss. So after unsuccessful treatment, and I was actually overdosed on radioactive iodine treatment to suppress the production of the thyroid hormone, my condition morphed into hypothyroidism to lower that production. And unfortunately, it was a little lower too much. So symptoms of hypothyroidism include brain fog, feeling sluggish, having fatigue, weight gain, inability to lose weight, depression again, anxiety, heavy periods, cramps, joint pain, like hair loss, and so much more. And I've had all of these symptoms and then some, and they were on the very severe side. So after years of struggle, major weight gain. For me, 183 pounds was fairly heavy because of my height and the way the weight dispersed on my body. I found myself really depressed and I wanted to take matters into my own hands and prioritize my well-being. And that happened because I struggled for over years begging doctors to help me to do something because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was put on a birth control pill to regulate my irregular periods because of my hypothyroidism. And I was also put on Synthroid, which is responsible for the production of the thyroid hormone, which is one pill a day for the rest of my life. But I still didn't feel very good. And the last straw for me to say, you know what, I'm going to have to do my own research and find out my own strategy. Is when I went to the doctor, I told her I feel like I'm trapped in someone else's body and mind. And she said to me, well, everything in your blood work seems fine, and just eat clean, work out. It's all in your head. You should go see a therapist. Here's the prescription for antidepressant medication. And so for me, that wasn't good enough. And I said, you know what? I'm done with taking meds. I'm done with taking pills. There must be another way. And so through trial and error, I've decided to take completely back control of my life. And so through the right fitness strategies, through the right nutrition, the mindset shifts, I was able to lose over 40 pounds in actually a span of 6 months and start to regain control of my life with hypothyroidism. Now, I do want to emphasize here that the goal that I started with was not about weight loss. The goal was the fact that I didn't feel like myself anymore. I was trapped, as I said, in someone else's body and mind, feeling sluggish, having brain fog. I couldn't focus. I couldn't deal with tasks. I just lost all control. So the weight loss came as one of the side effects, a positive side effect of taking control of my life. Basically, when my body started to let go of all of that inflammation that was stirring inside of it, and my cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, started to come down, that's when the weight started to reduce. So I started taking care of things on the inside, and then that transpired onto the outside for me. So a few hormonal health stats for you just to kind of paint the picture. And if you are dealing with hormonal imbalances or feel like you are, trust me, you are not alone because 1 in 3 Canadians are affected by thyroid diseases, and 50% of those people remain undiagnosed because they either feel like they're just putting the symptoms off, like, oh, it's a normal thing, it's part of my life, I'm stressed, whatever, or there's just not enough awareness. 20 million Americans have some sort of form of thyroid disease, and 60% of Americans are the same situation, are diagnosed. PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, affects 1.4 million women in Canada, and it's actually one of the leading endocrine disorders, or in other words, the leading most popular, if you will, hormonal imbalances in the world. And 6 million women have PCOS in the US. That's insane. And up to 70% of people go go undiagnosed worldwide with PCOS. Again, misinformation, misdiagnosis. Women feel like they need to take on so many tasks. They have very busy, stressful lives, and symptoms like stress, fatigue, sleep disruptions, irregular periods. We put it off and say it's because I'm super stressed. It's because my family is driving me crazy. It's because I'm going through changes in my life. Absolutely not. It's not because of that. It's because there's something wrong hormonally. So, question for you ladies right now, and I want you all to participate, please. Actually speak to me. Don't just write it into chat. I want to know, what's your biggest wellness challenge currently, being a busy professional? What are some of your wellness challenges? Abby, you wanna start, please, for us? Kind of warm the ladies up a little bit. You're muted.
Oh, I thought, are we speaking? Oh, I thought we're writing
Yeah,
it in the
yeah. No,
chat.
I want to hear everybody's beautiful voices. Absolutely.
Okay, so I wrote for me, I think one of the challenges I have with managing my wellness would probably be time management.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Anyone else?
I'd
Remember, you're
say,
muted
I'd
if you're
say,
trying to talk. Yeah. Sorry, Hilda.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say the discipline to get things done because for me, in terms of working out, for example, I don't necessarily have to go to the gym if I like do a 15-minute time slot and stick to it, or just move things around depending on how my day goes. But it's just that discipline to stick to what I said I'll do. And this is mainly in terms of working out for me. So yeah.
So consistency and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. Anyone else?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Thank you, Yvonne. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in the library, so I'm trying to keep my voice down. But for me, it would be figuring out the right kind of exercises for me. So I used to enjoy cardio a lot and fitness classes for an hour, but I've been told that's not just based off of other reasons. That's not ideal. So figuring out the right exercise mix for me.
So kind of not knowing what to do for
Mhm.
your challenges. Understandable. Anybody else want to share?
I'd like to go if that's okay. Victoria speaking. Vicky.
Hi.
Okay. Someone mentioned time management, but um, for me personally, yes, that's a bit of it. Plus, having to juggle too many things at the same time, like you're giving a piece of yourself to everyone else, and when it's your turn, there's nothing left. I
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's actually, how do I prioritize my own well-being and
yeah,
make time for myself first before taking care of everyone else? Yeah, to avoid that burnout.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. And one more. If anyone else wants to speak up, we have time for one more.
Hi, this is Tolulapere. So for me, I feel it's tiring and stressful
hmm
for me, and I just feel like I don't need to do all that. I wish I can have some other things to do. So tiredness and stressfulness.
Got it. Okay. So, ladies, all of these are very valid, and thank you for being vulnerable for sharing this. And also know that you're not alone because these are very, very similar answers that I get for every time I do this kind of a workshop. We're all in this together because, again, as women, we take on so much. And a lot of the times we want to be in control of everything, and we have a hard time delegating certain tasks. So, of course, this is the reason why I'm here today, to share some strategies and tips with you on how to help you navigate all of that. So, first of all, let's look at what happens when we neglect our health. Because a lot of the times when I do these presentations and people hear, oh, hypothyroidism and hormonal health and PCOS and adrenal fatigue, I don't have any of that. I'm a super healthy person. Everything is fine. However, if you're burning yourself out and you neglect your health just because you don't have any thyroid conditions now, or PCOS or diabetes or anything else, it doesn't mean that it may not come up in the future if you don't start to prioritize your well-being. So the first factor to cause medical conditions is our least favorite thing and word that everybody uses every single day is stress. So stress is the number one leading factor when it comes to hormonal imbalances due to cortisol production. And again, remember, cortisol is our stress hormone. So elevated cortisol levels could contribute to conditions like adrenal fatigue and PCOS. So even if you have no PCOS in the family and everything's been fine all your life, if you're super, super stressed, it could lead you to have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Poor diet. So the word diet has a negative connotation behind it because obviously in the society we live in, it's like, oh, you have to starve yourself. That's what the diet is. So it's not about that. It's about actual nutrition, right? So poor diet or poor eating habits or poor choices in your nutrition, and by poor choices, I mean it's things that are lacking nutrients, such as healthy fats, such as protein, such as good carbs, that could really impair your hormone production and regulation. And that could lead to PCOS again. That could lead to sugar spikes, blood sugar spikes. That could lead to inflammation and many, many other hormonal imbalances. Another really, really big one, of course, is lack of sleep. There are so many of us, myself included, I do run my own business, that sometimes just can't seem to get my sleep under control, although I try to prioritize it as much as possible. And lack of sleep does disrupt your hormonal health because it disrupts your body's circadian rhythm, affecting the regulation of your hormones like cortisol, insulin, and your thyroid hormones. And over time, this can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and hypothyroidism, right? Which is your underactive thyroid condition. How many of you feel like you're crashing in the afternoon here if you didn't get enough sleep the night before? Just by a raise of hand, right? So you have that mid-afternoon crash around 12 o'clock. Some people have it around 3 o'clock. They need that extra cup of coffee of sleep the night before. Or if you wake up in the morning and you feel super groggy, it's like the alarm is going off and you don't want to wake up and you keep hitting snooze and more snooze and more snooze because your brain and body is still sleeping. So it's not getting enough sleep in it. Or what about craving sweet things in the afternoon or all of a sudden when you didn't get enough sleep and you find yourself needing that little bit of a sugar kick, right? So that's the lack of sleep that we're talking about here. And of course, thyroid health. So the thyroid, again, plays a very critical role in regulating our metabolism, our energy levels, our mood, our critical thinking, the way our brains function. And underactive thyroid condition like hypothyroidism slows the metabolism, right? Leading to weight gain, brain fog, depression, anxiety. And so these imbalances will severely affect your productivity and your mental clarity and lead you to have a very much lack of concentration and motivation. So how many of you here, by a show of hands, I believe you could press a hand up, experience fatigue at least once a week, a few times a week? Okay. What about have mood swings? That's a big one for women. We're always saying, we're so moody. Yeah. And how about struggling with weight fluctuations? That little 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there. I'm up 5 pounds, I'm down 5 pounds. The scale isn't moving. I don't know what to do. Okay, very good, or not so good. So let's address that. So believe it or not, all of that is linked to hormonal imbalances. It's all hormone related because again, majority of the time we're like, oh, fatigue, stressful life. Mood swings, people are driving me crazy. I'm on my period, whatever. Struggle with weight, well, maybe I didn't eat really well or whatever. So believe it or not, these are hormonal related. So let's talk about what we can do to help you balance your hormones and to feel 100% even with our crazy lives and our crazy schedules. So number one thing, and you've all heard the saying, is you cannot outtrain a bad diet. And good food is good mood. For my very busy women, it is so necessary to have a balanced diet, and it's crucial because you need to maintain your energy levels. You need to maintain mental clarity. You need to manage your stress. And again, as I said, hormonal imbalances will lead to fatigue, mood swings, difficulty focusing, and directly will impact your decision making and productivity. So we want to make sure that your meals consist of whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, lots of fruits and vegetables. So a lot of the times when I share these tips with my clients and in speaking engagements, they're like, okay, Kat, we get it. I hear you. I know what you're saying, but how? How do I do this? I have such a busy schedule. I don't know where to start. So the first thing when it comes to nutrition, what I like to share is a three step meal prep strategy. So it's simple, it's straight to the point, and you're saving yourself hours and hours. So number one step would be to plan your meals ahead of time. So you'll start by selecting balanced recipes that include lean proteins, healthy fats, and fiber. Based on those recipes that you've decided to select for yourself, let's say for that week, you will make a shopping list out of it. And when you go to the store, you're only sticking to that shopping list. We're not, and don't ever go to the store hungry. If you catch yourself going to the store hungry, you'll always buy more things that you need. And most of the time, it's going to be junk food. And only base it on that shopping list for the specific meals that you plan for yourself. Now, if you don't have time to plan out your meals and you still don't know which recipes to look for, you know how we women in business professionals, we delegate tasks in our jobs, in our businesses. It's also good to delegate your tasks on your own wellness journey. So you can talk to a nutritionist, you can talk to a hormonal health coach and ask them to come up with a plan that's going to fit into your lifestyle. So it takes the guessing game out of that. The step that you'll take next, step two, will be batch cooking. And this is where the time saving strategy comes in. So, batch cooking means that you're going to cook in big quantities for your proteins, for your grains, and for your vegetables. And then you're going to portion them out for a week. For example, like you see the image here, this is meal prep. Let's say this is lunch for the next 3 days. Some people do it for an entire week. You can freeze your meals. Some people do it for the next 4 days. And as an example, of what I do, I meal prep once a week. I'm very busy and full transparency, I don't enjoy cooking or spending time in the kitchen either. And so what I do is I actually prep a bunch of proteins. So for example, I do a bunch of salmon in the oven. I'll do grilled chicken on my countertop Tefal grill. And I always have canned tuna in water, low sodium, on reserve in my pantry, for example, right? And that's what I have. And then it's easy grab and go options for the entire week. I'll also make rice, sweet potato, and let's say quinoa. So out of that, and fresh veggies can be chopped in advance too, or you can chop them as you go. If they're cooked veggies, of course, you can prep them for the entire week and you can organize them, put them into containers and store them away so that you're literally just grabbing it in the fridge, warming it up and eating it. Because a lot of the times, and I find myself doing it too, if I don't prep myself for success and I'm doing meetings, speaking engagements, I'm sitting in my home office all day and now I'm getting hungry and then that turns into hangry. And if I go into my fridge and nothing is prepped, I'm either going to run downstairs to Metro or to another store or a pizza spot and grab something, or I'm going to order Uber Eats, as opposed to if everything is already done for me in the fridge and it's prepped there for me, I'm simply reaching in, microwaving it, and then eating it. And then another thing you want to do to keep it sustainable and to keep that you don't get bored is to prepare versatile components that could be mixed and match, right? So as I said, chicken, salmon, tuna, quinoa, sweet potato, have a bunch of options for yourself. So you can, because you know how chicken, you can make grilled chicken, you can make fried chicken, deep fried, you can bake it, you can add chicken to salads. You can add chicken to wraps. You can make bowls with chicken, right? So you want to allow for that flexibility and variety throughout the week so you don't get bored. And this is how it is a sustainable approach. So I would like to actually ask you ladies again to participate next and let me know if you have any to go to quick meal ideas that you like to utilize on a daily basis during your busy time. Anyone have any quick meal ideas?
A wrap, a chicken wrap or a protein wrap. Yeah, with
That's
veggies.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any other ideas? Sorry, Andrea, go ahead. Sorry, Andrea, can you repeat that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Does anyone else have another one?
Okay, I can take one from the chat. Somebody says overnight oats. That's Vicky. And then Yvonne says granola yogurt and avocado toast for breakfast.
Beautiful, beautiful. So your ladies are right on track with that. That's absolutely fantastic. Okay, very good. Next slide. Okay, so balancing your wellness and business and how to find balance is the next. So because how do we stay consistent? And that's going to answer one of the questions that was brought up here, or not the questions, but points of actually being consistent, getting yourself disciplined enough to get yourself to the gym and do those workouts. So, you know, the saying is motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Now, I personally believe that it's not the discipline that keeps us going, but it's the power of your why that keeps us going. You have to have a why for your business if you're running your own business. You have to have a why as you chose the career path that you chose. You have to have a why if you decided to have a full-time job and then a side hustle. Clearly, there's passion behind it and you keep going on it. And you also need to have a why on your wellness journey. For me, my why is hypothyroidism because I never want to go back to the way I felt and the way I looked, the silent, lonely struggle that I went to and had to endure, and trying to figure out what was wrong with me. So this is about your why and how big is your why for you. It has to be big enough for you to get rid of all of your excuses. It has to be big enough that you're going to be able to get it to a point where you do instill discipline. My motivation died 2 weeks into my health and wellness journey 8 years ago. Motivation doesn't last. And unfortunately, 2 weeks in to anything or a wellness journey, you haven't built that discipline yet. So the gap in that bridge that bridges together motivation and discipline is the power of your why. And you have to get real honest with yourself if you're serious about getting started, whether it's your business, whether it's your health journey. You got to get real honest with yourself. Sit down with yourself and look within. And I mean, who likes to do that, right? Like, who wants to accept their own flaws and look within? But that's the first step to making any changes, is to get down deep with yourself and ask yourself, why do I want this? Why am I doing this for? And so when I, for example, started my own business, I realized very quickly that it was consuming me 24/7. And if any of you here own your own business or have a side hustle, you know that it does consume us 24/7. And I realized very quickly that if I wasn't making a conscious effort and prioritizing my well-being, that I was burning out very, very quickly and I was neglecting myself completely. So how do I manage this and what do we do to navigate balance? So the key is to establish a routine. This is again sitting down with yourself, opening up your calendars and figuring out what you can do. So I have a list of my daily non-negotiables that must get done. And I know if I don't do them, I'm not going to be 100%. A very powerful strategy that I do for myself, work on my clients, and with 100% success rate is time blocking. It is a very powerful strategy because you allocate specific time for workouts, for your meals, for your walks, for your meditation if you're into it. And all of those times are blocked in your calendar and mine. And then I schedule everything around those. And because these are my non-negotiables. For example, I'll give you my own time blocking morning routine. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm very consistent on it and I post it every single day. And my morning routine is a non-negotiable. I don't care what is happening around me in the world. If I don't do my morning routine first, I'm not attending anything else, right? Obviously, there's going to be times that I have to move things up and then move things down. For example, my normal Saturday morning doesn't consist of doing 10 a.m. workshops. That means that my morning routine had to start earlier. That means that the night before, I prioritize my sleep earlier as well, right? To be able to be on and focus and show up as my best self for everything and everyone else today. So an example, I wake up I say my positive affirmations. It could be one positive affirmations. It could be numerous affirmations. It could be a writing that you have for yourself by your bedside. And I post them every single morning as well. I drink 1 liter of water upon waking. No coffee, no tea, no pre-workout, pure water to get things moving, to get my organs woken up, to detox my body. And I don't allow myself anything unless I'm drinking that 1 liter of water. Now, you may be thinking, how do I do 1 liter of water if I'm only drinking like 3 glasses an entire day? And how can I do 1 liter of water first thing in the morning? It's going to be tough. So habit stack. If you're used to drinking 1 glass of water a day or in the morning, add another one tomorrow, add 2.5 the next day, add 3 the next, right? So habit stacking, small daily steps. Then I get myself up to my condo gym for 30 to 45 minutes of LISS fasted cardio, which is low intensity, steady state cardio. Abby's laughing because she knows, she sees it every day. And then my day can begin because I've now set the tone and mood for the day. I've now got my endorphins going. I've now have completely lowered my cortisol level, and I'm able to receive anything that this crazy world and my business and everything else throws at me. And because I've taken care of myself first and have been working on becoming the best version of me, I'm able to give the world the best of me instead of the rest of me, right? So that needs to be prioritized. And it doesn't matter where I am in the world. It doesn't matter if I'm here in Toronto or if I'm in Thailand or if I'm in the Dominican Republic. If there's no access to the gym, I get outside and I walk, right? So that needs to happen, and that needs to be the key here. Same thing with evening routines as well. If you're more of an evening person in terms of working out, different things work for different people. Make it work for you, but definitely allocate that time into your calendar. Those are the best things that you can do for yourself. Time blocking in your calendar is going to do wonders for you. Put your phone on do not disturb. If you're not sure on how to be consistent on something, set that into your calendar as if it's a meeting with yourself. You're not going to miss a meeting with your boss. You're not going to miss a meeting with your family doctor. You're not going to miss a meeting with your kids' teachers. Why would you not show up for yourself? Because that meeting with you is the most important meeting you're ever going to have, because you are the most important person in your life. Because if you don't take care of yourself, everything else starts to burn down, right? So it's very important to set those meetings. And of course, establishing that routine, setting boundaries, prioritizing the well-being will avoid burnout. It will improve your energy, your focus. Your business will start to flourish as well because you have mental clarity, you have more productivity, and your results will improve greatly as well. Now, when it comes to workouts, movement is really, really key here as well, right? I always say 80% is diet, 20% is movement. And movement is key, especially in women who are now going into perimenopause and menopause. So between 35 to 40, 45, those 10 years is when our perimenopause symptoms slowly start to come into our lives. It is apparent for women to do strength training because it preserves bone density and it preserves muscle mass, which becomes at a loss once we hit into perimenopause. You don't need to make it overcomplicated. You don't need to run to the gym in traffic and get yourself HIIT style workouts and kill yourself at the gym for hours. 15 to 20 minutes effective workouts, effective, consistent workouts are going to do wonders for your mental health and your physical health. I mean, look, I have clients who are nurses. I have clients who are flight attendants. These girls are doing their workouts with resistance bands on the plane during their breaks. These nurses are doing it in their break rooms. I have busy mommies who are holding their babies in the nursery and doing stuff at home as well. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. Set of dumbbells, a pair of resistance bands, and your body weight. That is all you need. But again, how do I be consistent on it? You block it off in your calendar. You schedule that meeting with yourself until you show up, and everything else gets planned around that. So by doing all of this, obviously consistently, you will greatly reduce your stress, improve your energy, clear your mind, and most of all, of course, help balance your hormones. So key takeaways here: hormonal health impacts all of our business successes. Nutrition, sleep, and stress management are crucial. And small, consistent habits lead to big results. Just as I said, in terms of water, right? So you drink 1 glass of water in the morning. Tomorrow you're going to do a glass and a half. The next day you'll do two. And then it's more and more and more. If you're not used to working out for more than 20 minutes or never worked out, start with that 20 minutes. Maybe the next day you'll add another 5. Same thing with walks outside. Go on a walk for 10 minutes if you're not used to walking outside for leisure. Then add another 5 and another 5 and another 5. But always have that in your calendar on your phone as a reminder so that alert comes off, and reminds you to get moving and to make better choices. So now I want to hear from you again. And of course, Abby, if you don't mind utilizing the chat, if anyone's writing it in there, what's one habit that you will start implementing today or that you would like to start implementing today? And you ladies can speak up or you can write it into the chat.
I can go first. I
Yeah,
think
please.
it would be drinking water and
Yeah,
prioritizing things I block off on my calendar.
that's good. That's a good one. Yeah. Anybody else?
Hi, Kat. Yeah,
Hi.
my name is Gladys.
Nice to
Hi.
meet you.
I think I kind of got in late, but I heard you say something about water. I think for me, when I wake up in the morning, I have a routine medication that I take. Because it makes me constipate, I use orange juice. So it's not that I cannot use water. I use orange juice, but I think I would stick with water and then maybe later in the day take the orange juice.
Yes,
Or
exactly. That's
yeah.
a good point. Yeah. So many of us do have to take medications in the morning, and there's certain strategies and prescriptions how doctors ask you to do it. But before anything, even before your meds, I would just start with water and keeping that water at your bedside and drink that first and then take everything else. And I don't mean, wait an hour after drinking your water, right? Chug down that water and then right away you can have your coffee, your orange juice, as long as your stomach, the best way to explain is that your stomach is coated with water before it's coated with anything else that's acidic, if that makes sense. Because orange juice, coffee, pre-workout, even tea, all of that is acidic and it doesn't let your body detox of everything that has been trying to work through during the time that you were sleeping. Any other habits that you ladies would like to start implementing today?
I can go.
Thank you, Vicky.
So for me, will be blocking my calendar. It just came as a big strike for if I'm able to block my calendar for other people's activities, why can't I block my calendar for my activity?
Yes. Isn't
Right?
that a great point? I love that. Yes, very powerful.
And prioritizing it such that I set reminders. Someone taught me how to set a reminder to take water every 30 minutes. And then it
Yes.
comes up. And now I realize that aside from just blocking my calendar, I can set a reminder so it pops up on my phone to say, take a walk. And that could be helpful for me as well.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. I should mention that same thing with supplements and vitamins, right? If you're taking specific ones, or you should be, but you don't know how to be consistent on them, then you can always go to Dollarama. $1.50 is that pill organizer for the week, right? A lot time in your calendar, let's say on Sunday, to spend time on meal prep and to spend time on organizing your pill organizer and put them in there and bring them with you. Bring them with you into your purse, right? So no excuses, because a lot of the times here, when we say I don't have time, it's about excuses. And this is where, again, you got to go back to the power of the why. What is your why? And get really real with yourself. Like, am I done with my BS excuses, right? Am I really willing to start doing this? Excellent, everybody. Okay, so let's do a Q&A. If anybody has any questions, Abby, go ahead.
All right. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined us. I know a lot more people have joined us. We can't call everybody's name, but thank you for being here. While we wait for people to ask their questions, I know you had asked about things that people are going to implement from what we've learned today. Somebody wrote in the chat, Yvonne, building a structured evening routine to wind down properly. Drinking water more. Tolu says drinking water more. Eunice says block my calendar and start taking care of myself and start my day with warm water. So if anyone has any questions, if you want to go, you can speak or raise your hand, or if you want to use the chat as well, I'll be happy to read your question in case you're aware you can't talk. Thank you. Okay. While we wait, I know I'd shared some questions with you, Kat. Do you want to take those ones first?
Yeah, exactly. I have some the ones that I already addressed in the presentation. I didn't write them out, but the ones that I haven't, I will address them now. So one of the questions was how to sync one's lifestyle with all four phases of the monthly cycle. So that is very much dependable on what you're going through and if you're dealing with any specific PMS symptoms. I personally don't recommend syncing everything to your monthly cycles if nothing needs to be fixing. Right. So not everyone is experiencing PMS. Not everyone is experiencing mood swings, cramps, cravings. So if everything is under control, then there's no need to change anything up. However, usually in the luteal phase, which is about 14 days prior to bleeding, right, actual menstruation, this is where we start to feel very lethargic. And this is where we start to feel sluggish and weak and irritated and have some back pain, some cramping. So, of course, you'd want to take it easier on yourself. So, when it comes to nutrition, if you're leading a balanced lifestyle consistently, there's no need to adjust anything on that cycle. And I do encourage people to have that balanced lifestyle throughout, not specifically just 14 days before your period. We want to make it consistent as a habit and as a lifestyle. But you can adjust your activity levels. This is where the key would be. Movement does wonders for our mood, and movement does wonders for our back pain, for our cramps prior to our period and during our period. And actually, believe it or not, it helps you with your PMS symptoms. But you obviously don't want to do anything crazy and rigorous, like heavy lifting, running, boot camp style classes, right? So I would suggest still getting your movements in, your daily steps, like 20 to 30 minutes outside, if not more, and some sort of strength training like Pilates or body weight exercises, using resistance bands, right? As opposed to regular exercise equipment. So slightly taking it easier on yourself. But again, if you're implementing those lifestyle strategies that I've shared, there's no need to specifically adjust everything to sync with your cycle. Because again, remember, the more we start to add on to ourselves in terms of, I got to track this, I got to do that, I got to sync here, I got to watch that, you're actually elevating your cortisol levels. So if you're leading this balanced lifestyle and doing the 80% of the time you're indulging, you're eating for your soul, for your hormones, for your right mood, and 20% of the times you're fully indulging and having that balance, there's no need to overthink it and adjust and readjust anything. The next question was how to use nutrition and rest to balance hormones and to heal depression and anxiety. So I did cover that a little bit, obviously, because hormonal imbalance lead to depression and anxiety. But there's a quote that I really, really love, and I'm sure some of you have heard before, is food is the most abused anxiety drug, and exercise is the most underutilized antidepressant. So you are what you eat, right? So whatever we're putting into our gut has a direct correlation to our brain and how our brains function and how our anxiety and depression are and how we think, how we act. So the more nutritious, whole, good, real, unprocessed foods you're putting into your body, the more happier you will be. And same thing with exercise. Exercise gives you that dopamine boost, that serotonin, and of course, endorphins, which are the happy hormones. So utilize that before taking the other conventional medicine the route. Again, everyone is very different. Some people do need that, but in addition to it, still try to prioritize your nutrition and movement as well. Any other questions, Abby, that you see in the chat that we want to address?
Well, I do have a personal question here someone sent to me from our group. Um, do you have any pointers to how to manage your hormones if you're treating conditions like ovarian cysts?
Yes, absolutely. So that's one of my specialties. However, I cannot share specific ways because I need to understand exactly what's happening with the person and see their blood work, see their results, how long they've had them, what's going on. Are they on birth control? Are they an IUD? Are they doing this completely naturally? But it is manageable. So just to reiterate, hypothyroidism, PCOS, ovarian cysts, fibroids, endometriosis, all of those are manageable and controllable with the right lifestyle approaches, which is going to include the right kinds of nutrition, the right style of movement, mindset, mindfulness, meaning that you're avoiding burnout, stress management, and just overall lifestyle changes. So if you want to pass my information on to that person that's asking, I would be happy to, have a call with them and dive deeper into the strategies that we can help them with.
Of course.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go to the chats.
Yeah,
Somebody said thank you so much, Kat. Really great insights shared and for sharing your journey and story as well.
thank you
And
very much.
then yeah, and then I'll start my day with warm water and include evening walk. So I guess the person is referring to what you had asked. Does anyone have any questions? We're wrapping up the session actually because it was supposed to be until 10:45. While we're waiting for the next question, I just wanted to say thank you to Kat for making
Yeah.
this time out. But yeah, Vicky, you can go. I can see Vicky's
Yes,
raised.
please. Yeah.
Oh, great. So, and when I registered, I put a question in, so I wasn't sure if you took that already. And you spoke about that, whilst you were giving your presentation on brain fog. For context, I haven't been diagnosed. I don't know what my thyroid health is right now, but for the brain fog, I do experience that in the course of the day. And what's the tip? Say I wake up and I have all the energy, but during the day somehow I can't even focus on tasks. I started taking omega-3 because I realized that it's very helpful for concentration. But what would you recommend?
I would also definitely look into the way you're sleeping. So that's the first thing I'd want to address is, are you actually sleeping throughout the night or are you waking up at 3, 4 in the morning? What is your evening routine like? Are you scrolling? Are you watching anything on television that's occupying your mind? What are your stress management tools if you do lead a stressful life? And then in terms of actual supplements and vitamins, again, you cannot outtrain a bad diet and you cannot supplement a bad diet. But if you're eating healthy and whole foods, 80% of the time, and you're still experiencing this, another thing that I would want to explore is adding a little bit of lion's mane supplement into your daily intake and also ashwagandha before bed. So ashwagandha before bed and lion's mane into your daily intake, for example, into your morning tea or your oatmeal if you're having it in the morning. So it's a powdered form or smoothies, and you need a tiny, tiny bit of that powder because it's very powerful and it helps with brain fog and focus. However, before you start implementing, and this is for everybody, before you start implementing any supplements that you're hearing here or somewhere else, you need to make sure you consult with your physician, please. And also, if you're taking any other medications, you need to make sure from your family doctor that they do not interact with one another because you don't want anything to happen, right? So you want to make sure it's in a clean state, no interaction. But ashwagandha and lion's mane for myself and some of my clients, this is just my opinion for me, have done some wonders.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Kat. So somebody was saying here, I put my question in registration. So Hilda, if you are able to take the question again, please write it in the chat. Or if you want to speak, you have the floor. Um, Great session. Thank you so much, Kat Abby. I think you have touched on most of the issues that women face and struggle with. Well needed areas to address. Well, thank you so much for being here as well. Um, Thank you, Kat. Really great insights shared. Okay. So
Thank you.
Hilda, do you want to? Okay. All right, no problem. Most of the questions that we received, I'm not sure when you joined, but most of the questions that we received, Kat's kind
Yeah,
of
and Abby,
addressed
also
them.
sorry to interrupt you. You guys see my Let's Connect page here. So The top one is my email, so info@catintlfitness.com. Then there's my website there. If you go onto the landing page, there'll be a pop-up window that comes up to sign up for our monthly newsletter. And I do share a lot of awareness on endometriosis, PCOS, hypothyroidism, well-being, and that comes out once a month. And I also send out invitations to any kind of events, speaking engagements, conferences, networking events that I'm going to be a part of. So it's good to kind of also join that for community announcements. And of course, the QR code, as well as with the handle to my Instagram, is where I post everything about my journey, my clients, all the tips and tricks. So that's actually the best way to connect with me. I do check all of the DMs myself. I do run my own IG. And so if you want to scan the QR code or just simply put the handle into your search in Instagram, send me a question into my DM on Instagram if I didn't get a chance to get to your question here today. And let's connect over there. And let's keep our conversations going. I'll be happy to help everybody. There's also a link in my bio on Instagram if you want to book a free consultation call. It is 100% free. And you can tell me all about your struggles and your areas of frustrations. And I can kind of help you implement certain strategies and figure out if we can work together on a customization for your health and wellness journey as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Kat. I mean, that's one of the
Thank
reasons
you.
why I know that this session very helpful to most of the women here. So if you're able to scan the QR code on the screen, it will take you directly to Kat's Instagram, and you can send her a DM on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you guys for all the nice messages in the chat. Thank you for this session. It's quite insightful and all that stuff. So if we don't have any questions for Kat, I guess we would wrap up the session because our hard stop was actually 10:45. I know Kat has another speaking engagement. Does anyone have any questions? Lola, Vicky, Gladys, Yvonne, anyone with any questions before we wrap up the session? Well, while we're waiting for the questions, wanted to introduce our community to you. I know some of us might not be members of the Leading Ladies Connect community. What we do is basically connect women to each other, to opportunities, and also create platforms to amplify or elevate the voices of women. You can find out more about us on www.leadingladiesconnect.com and be part of our community. We do events or sessions like this to actually help more women to learn about their health, their business, or even to, advance professionally as well. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined us. If we don't have any other questions before we wrap up, I would put our information on the chat
Yes,
and closing the call.
question. I have
Right.
a very quick question.
Yes.
Kat? Yeah, Kat, what would you say about food items that have like best before dates? If you take them, let's say after the best before dates, does it have any health implications on women?
I'm having a
Like,
hard time hearing you. Sorry. Food items
okay,
that.
can you hear me? Food that have best before dates.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like the preservatives?
So whatever item you buy from anywhere that you put in your mouth, they always have best before dates.
Yes.
Milk, it could be anything, just anything that have best before dates. Do they have any health implications on women, especially if they're taking way after the best before dates?
Oh, yeah. I definitely wouldn't recommend taking anything after best before date. Definitely not, because you don't want to get sick, and that could lead to really, really serious health conditions. Because if they go expired, that could lead to stomach situations, bacteria. You don't want to play around with that. That's the first one. And I think it's also important to address if the best before date is really, really, really far away from the time that you got it, that means that it's very, very, very processed. So that has a lot of hormonal disruptors in it, like ingredients that will be fake ingredients to preserve shelf life. That means that it's not the greatest thing for your hormones. So for example, if you're buying organic milk or like organic vegetables, you'll see how they kind of start to wilt and like expire, if you will, and you don't want to kind of eat them. They get wrinkly within a few days. Whereas other like fruits and vegetables, let's say you get in Costco, they look pretty for weeks and weeks and weeks because they have been processed during the time that they've been harvested or grown to preserve that shelf life. So you want to try to opt out for cleanest, whole, real foods and eat organic as much as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much, Kat. I have one last question here that someone sent to me via WhatsApp. The person is asking, I have been dealing with like a lower left pain in my abdomen for a while. Do you know if it's anything serious? Because the pain comes and goes.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't
Right.
diagnose that, but I absolutely urge you to get checked out immediately, like yesterday. You don't want it to get worse. It could be absolutely nothing and just a pulled muscle or stress or something with food, even food sensitivity that's causing stomach, gas and whatever. But it could also be something more serious. And the sooner you catch it, the better.
All right. Okay. Are we having any last question before we close out this morning? Okay. Thank you so much. We are exactly on time. I wanted to say thank you
Yes,
so much to
wonderful.
you, Kat. Kat, thank you so much for taking the time out and answering all our questions. Remember, everyone, you are able to scan the QR code to actually book a free consultation with Kat. She'll get on a call with you and, address any questions that you might have for those that might be shy of asking their questions here.
Yeah, just send me a
Um,
DM, you guys. I'm an open book, completely, totally would love to connect with you. Absolutely.
Right. So thank you so much, ladies. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you at one of our events or be part of our community as well. Thank you, Kat.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Bye,
Thank
ladies. Have a
you.
everyone.
Thank
beautiful
you.
Saturday, beautiful weekend. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Abby, please can you share the link to join?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, but let me try to see if I can put it there.
Okay.
Abby, I'm going to log off. I gotta run. Thank you so
I
much.
understand.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you for having
You
me.
as
This is
well.
my
You as
pleasure.
well.
Talk to you
Um,
later. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. So it would be Leading Ladies Connect. It's one word everywhere. You can find us everywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Our website as well is www.leadingladiesconnect.com.
Okay, thank you. I thought you meant like a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, so our WhatsApp group link is on our Instagram.
Okay, cool then. Thank you.
Yeah, so depending on what city you are able to join the group. Thank you so much to everyone who is still here, but I'm going to close out the meeting now. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, ladies. Thank you.